Here's a requested illustration from my group on how to cut this bodycon basque dress with gathers and also an asymmetric gathers. So let's go ahead to draft this. I'm drafting this in form of an illustration. I'll be doing it in a miniature size. Marked out the shoulder to bust, under bust, waistline. So here is 7 inches my hip point, and this point I'm holding now is where the basque will start, right? Then you need where the basque length will stop. We are working on the center piece, that one that has like a basque. Now mark your shoulder divided by 2. Come down by 1 inch from your neckline. So I'm going to mark a basic neckline of 3 inches. If you're not okay with the wideness, please adjust it. So I'll just go ahead to connect. The next step is to find the chest line, which is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'll make a mark and draw out a straight line there. I'm going to go ahead to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2 again, and I'll place and connect. After connecting at this point, I'm going to place my tape and I'll measure from the shoulder to the armhole of this dress. I'll divide and place my tape to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Connect from the midpoint of my pattern to the lower part and also to the upper part. Now for the neckline, notice it has this high-low effect. So come down by 2.5 inches and take it up again. That is, come down a bit by 2.5 and take it up to create that high-low effect. Now after marking this, to insert your measurement. At the bust area, I'll be marking this as a tatless pattern. Mark your bust measurement divided by 4. Just add half to 1 inch for your stitching allowance. Mark your under bust measurement, divide it by 4, and you're also going to add half to 1 inch for your stitching allowance also. Mark your waist measurement divided by 4. Also add your sewing allowance. After marking that, mark your hip measurement divided by 4 and add your sewing allowance. You want to connect from the bust to the under bust all the way to the waistline, from the waistline to your hip point. Now when you get to this hip point, looking at this dress, from your waistline you're going to come down a bit by like 2.5 inches. So I'll take this point from there, come in by 1.5 inch, then you start creating the basque. Now for your basque length, you can use 10 to 15 inches after your waistline, or what you're going to do is to place your tape and measure the length of your basque. Now place your tape, measure from your waistline to where your basque length started. Now mine is 17 inches and my full gown length I'm using for this dress is about, let's say the full length is about 30 inches. Now we are doing this in form of an illustration. So you minus 17 from that 30 inches. What you have is 13 inches. That length, that 30 inches, is from your shoulder to the shortest part of this dress. That is the length of the dress that you're going to measure when you're taking the measurement for this dress, right? Now when we minus the 17 inches, it gave us 30 inches. Now that 13 inches, when you add it to the front part, it will now give you a longer length. While the side of the dress, when you add it to the side, it will now be shorter. So let me go ahead to illustrate with this pattern paper. So let's say that this is the 13 inches extra length. Now you're going to gather about 4 yards of your fabric at the lower part of this dress. I'm pleating this out so that it will look like a gathered effect. Now if you add it to this side, you find out that the part going to the center front is longer than the side that will be at the back. Now before adding your gathers, you need to join your front and your back together before doing that. So let's go ahead to draft the back pattern of this dress. I'm going to use this pattern to cut out your front. All you have to do is add your pattern paper, and when you add your pattern paper to it, you want to reconnect your back neckline. For the back neckline, I'm using 3 by 1 inch. Then I'll just go ahead to cut out. Now after cutting out, since we are using the same pattern to cut out the front and the back, now you want to open your waistline. This is so that the back will not be having any excess, because the back is shorter than that of the front, your back half length. Mark ½ inch on both sides, blend it to the side, blend the other side also. Now after blending it, you want to match it up, but before that you're going to cut out any excess you have. So while cutting, if you blend it this way, you still achieve your result, but I just had to cut it out. And I'm going to blend it this way. I will use my tape to hold this down. After holding it down, one thing you want to do is to go ahead to measure what you have here. If you measure it and it's not giving you your actual measurement, it's either you add a pattern paper to it to complete it, or if it's giving you an excess, you have to like trim it out by the side. So another thing you're going to do is, you notice here is curvy. Now you want to blend it out so that it will be straight. You'll be adding a pattern paper to achieve that. Also note that you're going to use gathers for the lower part of this dress. So what I'll do now is to add like a little pattern paper here. I want to straighten up what I have at the back so that it won't be bent. You know, this back pattern, you have to like join it at the back because there's a joining at the back. Now after doing this, after marking out the straight line, you want to retake your measurement again at the waistline so that it will align with your actual waistline, right? You want to retake your measurement. If your measurement is 7 inches, if you check it and it's not giving you 7 inches, you have to like take out the excess by the back or by the side, then you cut it out. Then this is what you're going to have.